What is coming common is I'm getting videos sent to me or documents, and I have no issues with that whatsoever because I think it's a great way to learn by listening to how someone else is speaking about a certain topic, and then I can listen to that topic and see whether maybe there's a mistake or somebody's going in a direction that they don't want to go into, but they're not actually listening to what they're saying because they haven't got the foundation of what law is. I was just given a document. It's by the House Award 145 Slater Street, Warrington, and it's the keeper of the keys. It looks like to be one of his coat of arms or something that he wants to be recognized, that he is the one in charge and he's the one who makes his own laws and so forth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just going to deal with one paragraph because the very foundational paragraph is going to set the stage for what everything else says within this document, and it's 68 pages. 68 pages. And in the very first paragraph, I already know the power, if this document has any power at all. Okay. So let's just read the very first paragraph, and for those who've been watching my English law series, I'm just taking care of a dog, and it's a large dog, so that thumping is its large tail as my roommate is coming down to give it a pet. So let's just go on. Just hold that thing down, tie him to his leg. Okay. Here it goes. It is now confirmed formally on and for the record as of this day, the 20th day of March 2015, agreed by the state and the Crown by way of unrebutted affidavit and statement of fact, and that there is a lasting tacit agreement through acquiescence and royal assent by default. That there has never been any such thing as law, but only the presumption of law, where a presumption is nothing of material substance, and any presumption can be dismissed by a formal challenge. Oh, really? All right. Well, let's just break that apart for a moment. The first thing this person is doing is he's bringing in the state and the Crown. So what level of interest is he dealing with? Well, as we have learned, he's dealing with the third level of interest to land in equity, and as such, he's effecting, or he's giving power to that agreement by saying that it has power that he's using it against in order to form that his affidavit has any force or effect, because now it's unrefuted or unrebutted. All right? So by stating, oh man, we got a zoo going on here today. Everybody wants attention. And the fact that he's using the state or the Crown in order to bring some enforcement now has just given force to the Crown or state to be recognized as the authority figure that's warranting some sort of value within his claim that he makes within his affidavit. Do you see how kind of absurd that gets? You see how there's no power in what he just did? To make his own claim that he has the ability to make his intent known, therefore affect law, which as we move down further, there is no such thing as law. It's all presumption. So what are we doing here? Okay, seriously, is that a frivolous statement or what? I mean, the whole thing. To next go into the part there is no such as law, no such thing as law. Well, if there's no such thing as law, then we live in anarchy. But to the extent, what is law? you just made a broad stroke statement that there's no such thing as law, but there's law and then there's equity. Okay, so if you're speaking to the crown and state, now you're speaking to equity. You're not speaking to law, because law is strict, as we've come to learn through this English law series. It's settled. So you're obviously not speaking to law. And then by saying it's presumption, well, then you move into equity, which, again, you've already done by bringing in the state and the crown in, to the extent that you just circumvent the law where your true power would have been, to now get your ass thrown into presumption of equity, whereby if you brought this affidavit to court, okay, sure, the judge is going to say, is going to placate you and say, yeah, blah, blah. All he's going in his mind, I'll guarantee, he's probably singing some song in his own mind or doing something else in his mind. He's not listening to you after you just made that statement, the very first statement. There's nothing in your affidavit that's is going to say anything just after that very first statement. Okay? And then, because you're not using law, which you should be using law in order to affect your individual rights, because that's where the law is, not within a group, that he's going to throw your ass into a constructive trust, into equity, which is the presumption that you know what law is and you're already agreeing to go into equity to have this matter heard through a arbitrary nature, which then creates a presumption in the first place that you are trying to avoid. See, the clarity that I'm trying to make in this topic is asinine in itself. Do you see how we get ourselves thrown into a 2-week detention, like I've done myself? I get thrown into 2 weeks into C block for a psych eval, okay? Because I was saying things like this before. So, yeah, I'm sort of beating this guy up a bit, but how many other people are using this document or thinking of using this document? Does the center hold? Okay? It has to be with reason. And reasoning is the full prime directive of law, to which then the law established security within agreements to overreach our dominion rights to give value to that agreement in the first place. So if there's no law, there's no security, and there's no agreement, to which then you come in later to make an agreement. Well, hello? Where's the law to give security of that agreement that you're trying to make in an affidavit even? I think I've said enough here, and we can pretty much go on from our own ability to ascertain when we are being frivolous and we're just writing guff and a bunch of wordy stuff of 68 pages of stuff that in the very first paragraph he just had destroyed everything, every word from that from a learned judge, and that's who you want. When you know the law, you want a learned judge. If ever judge allows this to go through, that guy's a moron. You don't want to be anything near him. Okay? So, on that note, thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe and share, and share with this guy as well, so that he can maybe reflect on what he's saying or actually not saying, and so that he can also learn what law is and move into where he truly wants to move into, which is to remove the presumption by using the law in the first place. God bless. Like I said, like and subscribe, share, and we'll see you soon.